In the can here, Sundance 2011, and we are talking to the filmmaker and some very fine actors, if I do say so myself. From Gun Hill Road, Rashad Ernesto Green is with us, as well as Isai Morales and Judy Reyes. Thank you for being here. Thank you. You've gotten plenty to eat and plenty to drink? You guys are like, you're fueling up before you came in. So
we were so excited to be here.
Really yeah, it's very, very high energy show we got going on here. So anyway, and you're back after a couple of years. You were here with us short.
Definitely.
A couple of years ago.
Thank you for having me back, definitely.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Really excited to see this film. It's a very interesting film, and I think it's one that's perfectly suited for Sundance because it's just, you know, for me, Sundance is all about characters and a great story. And we have both of those here. Tell us a little bit about Gun Hill Road.
Gun Hill Road, it's about a Latino family in the Bronx whose father returns home from prison after 3 years to discover that his wife is estranged and his teenage child is investigating a sexual transformation that he can't quite understand.
So that poses an interesting dichotomy because, you know, of course, the story is centered in the Bronx. There's definitely a machismo there. There's a Bronx attitude there that your character carries a little bit. And you've been in prison for 3 years.
Yeah.
So you got a hard
There's some
character.
macho stuff there too.
But then you're coming home to something that you all of a sudden there's a sensitivity that's required that you may not be equipped to deal with. How, from an actor's standpoint, how do you approach a role like that?
I don't know. I mean, you just go to set and you see what is there. I mean, I approach it in the sense that, you know, you prepare for the character, and Ernesto has someone incredible that he based this many aspects of his character on, and I have people in my life, so I look for people with analogous situations, and you know, you talk, you rap. Working with Judy, such a tough thing, you know. Yeah. Actually, you just go to this set every day, and I don't try to plan everything. We work on it, and then we get to the set and see what happens.
But did you find that as your process too? I mean, it seems like a lot of what you would be doing, especially from the relationship standpoint, would very much be, and it's a cliche for actors, I know, but in the moment. Yeah. To where the reaction part of acting really would come into play a lot for you.
I needed to prepare a little bit more. I mean, I come from a comedic environment where there are things that you rely on, there are tricks that you have. So I was very concerned about not doing that, and Rashad was very diligent about not letting me do that.
Good director.
And I really wanted him to not let me do that, and I would get really angry when he wouldn't let me do that. You know, so it was, but I was looking forward to that. And as far as working with Isai, he and I.
I'm right here. Just remember.
I know.
She's not and he and I would, and he and I, again, right?
and he and I would do that. He and I would automatically just instantly slip into the characters as Angela and Enrique, and just mess with each other automatically, instantly, and it was. A love-hate fun thing to just constantly give each other.
It was love-hate. She loved to hate me. It's amazing.
I did.
It just came natural.
I did.
No, but it's interesting because you do have a very successful comedic background, a very, very funny lady, but this would take a different kind of muscle for you to...
Well, I still, to this day, think I'm a serious actress. See? You know, I always thought I've trained in the theater. It's how I began. So, and to always take myself seriously was what I guess made me so successful at being funny. Now, but you know, I had to just flex the muscle.
Yeah, but at the same time, and this will come out more in the performances, but you know, just from the audience standpoint, fly on the wall type of thing, a lot of the situations that you folks were in can be comedic for us for many, many reasons. One, that we're not in them, obviously. So it's an interesting kind of irony there that you're not trying to be funny, but in a lot of ways the situations that you have put your actors into can come across that way.
But Rashad was very, I think, careful with that. You know, it was a real tough line for him to walk, and he made sure we did not go into camp or maudlin. You know, and I have to say, Judy, I saw the film Friday, and I know we're on TV, but you're wonderful, and her measured performance is so beautiful, so you know, it's so subtle and understated, so many things. So I like going to set. It's awkward. A lot of times, you know, it's awkward trying to come back into this character's family life with and reestablish this. So I just love working with Judy, and I just want to say that for the record.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep that on tape.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Rashad, that brings up a point for you, though, because as a director, you know, this is new to you too, in a lot of ways. You know, this project was the first of its kind for you, in a big way. Did you find some of the same, and it's a terrible word, but growing pains as you were, you know, showing up to work every day?
Well, yeah, it's my first big film, first feature, and I was sort of shocked how much little focus I got to spend on directing the actors, and how much I had to sort of be aware of the morale of the set and keep people's you know, attitudes high and spirits high, and I was like sort of taking care. I was like the dad, and I got to direct just a little bit.
Well, but you're blessed with two very talented actors who you trust their choices, and that always makes your job.
Of course, having seasoned professionals, you know, was definitely, you know, ease that process for me. There was, of course, a whole bunch of other cast and crew that weren't as seasoned, to be honest with you, but it was a wonderful combination of the two. And I think that the ending result is something that feels very genuine.
Tell us a little bit what was happening with that scene there.
Well, they had just gone to Michael's parent-teacher conference, and the teacher had just informed them that Michael had been using the girls' bathroom, and Angela, the mother, had already known about these issues, and Enrique was just finding this out for the first time.
Okay, so that's part of the whole coming home to a whole different world type of idea.
Everyone keeps things away from me. I think it's a funny thing. You know, when we first see Michael, he's got his hat on, he tucks his hair, and it's like I'm the last one to know, and I feel like such an idiot at that point, because I was so proud that I was being a good dad. I was going to parent-teacher night, even wore a tie. Come on, you know, that guy don't do that often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we learned very quickly that putting on a tie doesn't fix it.
Nope.
Yeah, not so much. Now, let's talk about the actor, the very talented young man that played Michael, and Harmony. He couldn't be with us today, but I understand you had a very interesting and unique way of finding him for this film.
Absolutely. Well, we knew early on that we needed to find the genuine article in order for this film to be successful. I couldn't fake it. So we spent a couple months on the streets of New York, going into nightclubs and youth organizations and parades, and I eventually found Harmony at a Queens parade, working a booth, and I don't know what to say. She was beautiful. She was right. Came to the audition on time, and you know, blew us away. So
yeah. Well, from what I understand, you can't take your eyes off her. It is such a jewel and part of this film, and you've worked with her. Obviously, you can attest to that a little more personally.
Yeah, I mean, I first met Harmony at Sylvia's. We went to eat at the great Harlem restaurant, Sylvia, and I was just struck by how charming and truly sweet a soul she, or as you might say, he is. And this is awkward for me because, you know, how do you address someone, you know, as they envision themselves, or as society accepts, you know? Right. So it was something that I'm still kind of, you know, because I'm amazed. The humanity she portrays in this will make you fall in love with her. And that's, I think, the genius of Rashad's script and the way that we discover a person that I've never seen anything like that on film. The intimacy.
Well, and when you meet her and when you work with her, she can't give you a false moment, you know, and in working and developing the character and establishing a relationship, as playing her parent, you want to have her back immediately, you know. So you do immediately, and I think that's what created the conflicting relationship with me and Isai, because I was always very protective of defending her. So, and that's one of the things that I had to work with, not being okay either, having also the conflict with what she was going through, you know, and already having made peace with what he was making peace with throughout the film.
And like I said, this is the perfect kind of story. That's for Sundance. Very excited to see it. Congratulations, Rashad, and Judy and Isai. Thanks for joining us. Gun Hill Road premieres
Tomorrow,
night.
Monday,
Monday
January
night.
24th at 5:30.
All right, hopefully you get a chance to see that throughout the week. We'll be back with more in the can after this.